How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Creepshow Joe Hill's Wolverton Station. This is a one-shot special because, yeah, Joe Hill, the creator of Lock and Key, Stephen King's son, if he approaches you, you give him his own special edition issue. Of course you do. And this is so much better than what the Creepshow book has been like lately. And there's a few reasons for that. One, they gave the story its own issue. Make this the book's format in the future, please. Creepshow, the TV show, did doubles, and to be honest, I was never a huge fan of that. And they translated that over into their tie-ins, like the Creepshow young adult novels in the style of Goosebumps. Those are doubles, and the other issues of the comic, I think, are all doubles. And in turn, that's like a single comic issue isn't that long, but cutting them in half has choked so many Creepshow stories, and I've never liked the doubles format. This is better. There's not dull air here. The book fills up a whole issue quite nicely, and it lets the story breathe. And it's a really interesting story. This horror movie prop collector has to go on a train in England in order to retrieve a prop from the Wolfman. But on the train, there are werewolves. And I really do like, there's so many horror movie elements and horror movie things reinterpreted in an interesting way. And you know me, I love trains, I love horror movie props, and the werewolves just being a problem in England. The idea that it's a casual problem that they're just not addressing, even though people get eaten. And I really can see this being based on a true story. Have to figure out how to talk about this next part with tact. The book is a metaphor. The werewolves in London are a metaphor for a real group of people in England, and it's something I haven't been to England myself. I can't talk super in depth on the topic, but I have seen that there is a certain subculture of English youths that have no respect for the law and are quite willing to assault people, both verbally and physically, and I don't really see many people talking about it or doing anything about it. Every now and then you'll see a scene in a movie, a British movie, and it's just horrible and the characters don't react to it too much. Or you'll see a viral video coming from England, like that kid that was just breaking into people's houses and harassing them and posting it on the internet. It's a subculture that's gotta stop. Violence and assault isn't okay, and Joe Hill talking about it using the metaphor of werewolves and the idea that there'd be werewolves just eating people and everyone in England's like, whatever, who cares? It's something I haven't seen anyone really talk about, but it is a serious issue. Again, I myself have never been there. I don't know much about what's going on, but I have seen the videos and it has gotten me concerned. Not sure how well British people respond to this one though. But anyway, if you guys want to see a little more of the story, I'll switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys some of the story, some of the art. I'll dig a little deeper, but I don't have to do any major spoilers to do that. So without further ado, let's switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Creepshow, Joe Hill's Wolverton Station. Right off the bat, you may notice this is wanting to stay open. That's because the cover is made out of a much thicker paper. I think it's like cardstock or something. I do, in general, really prefer this. So many comics have gotten super cheap, and their covers get all smeary, but this cardstock stuff, really, really nice. Taking this closer to the camera, we get to see, I think they shrunk the Creepshow logo so that they could fit this extra line of text, and also $4.99 US, #1 special. Not a big fan of going #1 special, but just say one shot, unless your second special is going to be #2 special. Anyway, love the cover. This is the A cover. We get the Creepshow ghoul. We get the werewolf howling in front of the moon. Classic imagery, but with the conductor uniform and the train coming right at you with the blood on the front. That's great. Good cover here. Anyway, flip it to the back. A bloody mess, says the Creepshow ghoul, and we get to see 00111. Rated M for mature. And yeah, M for mature, bloody mess. That's, yeah, actually pretty accurate. Anyway, we get the credits page inside. Wolverton Station, written by Joe Hill and Jason Ciaramella. Not exactly sure who contributed how much. Joe Hill does get the story's overall authorship credit on the front cover, but it is a two-writer job, and Michael Walsh is the artist. Anyway, after that, we have the story proper. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to analyze a bit, show you guys a little bit of the art, and say my piece on a few plot points, but I don't have to go to the end to do that, so no major spoilers, but let's take a little bit of a peek inside. We get to see the Creepshow ghoul looming over this guy holding Dracula's amulet, and we find out that this guy is a collector of horror movie artifacts, but in order to get them for cheaper, he screws over people, like this mother and baby, and this old man that has the mummy costume. He'll complain about the condition, or complain about the market, but in turn, he really does love these things, and he's able to get quite a few of them. And I do want to say, if it feels like someone's lowballing you, don't be afraid to get a second opinion. But that being said, this is anthology horror. We have to have a jerk that gets his comeuppance, right? Well, it turns out he really likes the werewolf, and he gets a call from his friend in England named Saul, who says that he has the cane from the original Universal Wolfman, and if he wants it, he has to come over to England. And we see the cane on the desk. Didn't the original Wolfman cane have a pentagram? I think this looks closer to the Storm of the Century cane, but whatever. He tries to go there, but after he gets off the flight, turns out all the private drivers are on strike, and he can't simply drive over there. He has to go to public transportation. Amongst the crowd, we get our first glimpse at a werewolf. The Creepshow ghoul is hanging out there, as well as, if we look in the background, there's Joe Hill. Anyway, he bumps into a werewolf but doesn't really see who it is, and we get a good bit of almost indecipherable British. Anyway, he gets on the train, and that's when he first really notices the werewolf. It sits down next to him, it starts to make conversation, but he is like super awkward, doesn't know what to do, and decides to excuse himself to go into the bathroom. And that's sort of the thing. It's more a metaphor, you know, this story, right? The idea of comparing just open and unchecked werewolves with this sort of open and unchecked culture of violence and assault. So in turn, in the world of the story, I get why he doesn't absolutely freak out. But when you read it and you think, okay, if I actually saw a werewolf, I would probably have a much stronger reaction. But talk about blood and gore. He can't just hide in the bathroom. It's full of gore. It sickens him. And when he steps out, another werewolf goes, dude, what was taking you so long? But earlier in the comic, there were these 3 werewolf youths who are harassing this woman. And yeah, she didn't really make it out okay. And it turns out these 3 werewolf guys are eating people on the train, and now he's kind of become involved because he witnessed them and in turn gained their attention. And even though the security guy is like, hey, leave this first class guy alone, they're not going to just leave him alone, and he's wondering what to do, having drawn the attention of these werewolves. But there's a staple. I don't want to go any farther than that. But yeah, a really interesting comic, taking a real world thing and using this quite bizarre narrative to talk about it. I'm not sure how happy British people will be about this, but yeah, I kind of wonder if this was based on a real-world interaction. Anyway, a super bizarre thing, but I do love this sort of out of nowhere element of the story. It's bizarre in a good way, and I do like that they gave him a whole issue. Like, for real, I get Creepshow is supposed to be an anthology, but those little half-issue stories were not enough time to develop, and I do wish the regular Creepshow book was like this. But anyway, I can definitely recommend it. It's a really cool thing. Yeah, I would say go check this out. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Creepshow playlist, where you can see me review some of the episodes of the show and some of the other comics. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.